Yeah, we're live.
Good afternoon, everybody. Marco and Greg, episode 11. What's going on, brother? How you
Yep,
doing?
doing all right. Just making sure all the volume's off.
I know we still have to get used to turning off phones and having no interruptions during the show. Um, it's
Interruptions happen,
yeah,
just like this
but
last week. Oh, would you?
yeah. Why don't you tell people what happened last week,
Well,
man?
I'm
Why
sure
we
most people know
why we missed?
why we missed. We didn't miss for any specific reason. Oh, are you talking about because I forgot my bag?
Yeah. So we had a technical difficulty this time. Um, I'm still working on the studio. You know, we've been working on it for a while. We're trying to minimize the amount of money that we're putting into this thing because we're dead broke at the moment. But hopefully, the studio will come back up and be ready by the end of the month, perhaps.
Yep, you're too busy. You need to quit doing 3 jobs, 2 jobs.
Hey, man, got to do what you got to do, man. You know, it's definitely been keeping me on my toes lately, man. And it's been getting pretty hard to stay focused. I've noticed to stay more focused than I usually am.
See, it's always hard to stay focused regardless. If you're too lazy, you can't get enough focus. If you're not lazy, you can't get enough focus. Like, I think that's just normal.
Is it just normal? Do you
Yeah,
think?
it's just
But
normal.
I don't know. I kind of had an off week. You know, just off.
Oh
Did
no,
you
yeah, I get that all the time. But for me, it's like days.
like
Like,
how many days?
I'll get up today and I'll just be like, I'll be mad about something. Like if I was learning code and I didn't learn anything, I'd just be like, why am I still doing this? Like, this is a waste of time. Like, it just takes me longer to learn things.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me to be discouraged very, very quickly.
Oh, I
Just things
see.
like that. So you may be
But
getting something underlined like that.
but in terms of like how long does this gloom last for you?
Well, right now, every single day, because I get that feeling. Because it's like when you're trying to learn something, it's it's annoying when you don't understand it, when you don't get it.
Okay, what if you do understand it, but it's your work is not coming out as it should?
Well, see, like that's probably one of the things. You probably feel like it's an off day because I only know one thing about today. You were trying to get that futon, and so with not getting the futon, with whatever else happened, with whatever, like maybe you woke up and you were still tired this morning, and then you got to work and something stupid happened, and right there, that's already two things that you're just like, God damn it! Like even if you forgot about them, it's still two things that slowed you down, and then the futon slowed you down even more. So it's just you probably had more slowdowns than pickups in a day.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I see. So, what would you do in your case? Like, how do you get back on the horse after you've been defeated so many times?
I go to sleep.
Just kind of recharge?
Yeah. Anytime I go to sleep and wake up, it feels like everything's different.
Really?
Every time.
Like, huh? That's
Even if I take
interesting.
a nap.
So, would you say that it's more like it resets your perception,
Yeah.
the way you're thinking about the day?
Yeah, it doesn't guarantee that I'm going to wake up and it's going to be better. It could be worse. But it's a higher chance this is going to be better if
But
I'm
it's
already
different.
worse.
It's
Yeah.
it's significantly different from what it was before you were asleep.
Yeah, it's like the whole resolution kind of concept. It's like on January 1st, I'm going to stop doing all this and hit it.
Yeah.
So I almost have that same feeling when I sleep. So
Wow.
like if something's sucking, I go to sleep, wake up, I'm going to hit
Now, when things are sucking, are you like usually like are you
it.
no pun
Continue.
intended? Are you usually sleeping
What do you mean? What?
when? Well, okay.
I would be awake if it sucked.
No. Like if something sucks during the day, like you have a bad day. Like, are
Uh-huh.
you tired? Are you sleepy? Like, how do you just go to sleep?
Oh, I'm always tired. I can fall asleep at any time.
Old man syndrome, huh?
Yep, I've always had that.
Really?
Always. I would be sitting. There's tons of pictures. I'll be sitting on the floor, like facing the TV on my stomach,
Yeah.
and I'll just fall asleep like this. Just I'm still like looking at the TV and I'm asleep.
From when you were a kid?
Yeah,
Huh. That's crazy.
it's easy. Half the time
Because
I fall asleep before my son does.
for me, like
Like I'll be like good night, give him a kiss, and he knows I'm gonna fall asleep. But one of the things I've learned about him, even since he was a kid, like when he first was a baby, if I were to stay awake and rock him to try to get him to sleep, it would take like an hour.
Yeah.
If I just took him, put him on my chest, I fell asleep, he'd be out like in 2 minutes. He'd be out right with me.
That's so funny. So
And
not
so I
only
just said, screw it. I'm going to sleep, and he'll fall asleep. It's
do you
almost
feel
like
him?
he's just
Do you
like,
feel
there's
him if
nothing
you-
left.
Do you feel him if you like runs around?
I can. He doesn't get up and go out, but
Oh, okay.
I'm a very,
Light
I'm a
sleeper?
very light sleeper when it comes to cues. Like, can you tell when your wife comes home? Like, you can almost feel it that like she's here. Like, there's something that she does every time she like walks around the corner that you're like, that's her. Like, you can
Sure.
tell. You can
Sure.
tell her sound. Like at the house right now, I can hear the car come around, and I
Sure.
know the way that a specific light hits my window. I can tell is someone coming into my driveway. Like,
Sure.
things like that are cues to me that I understand. It's like when people are like, "Oh, you're not scared that he's in the other room and he's gonna choke on something." Like, I know where he is and what he's grabbing just because you're so used to the
Yeah,
noise.
yeah.
So when you go to someone else's house, like if I brought him here and he was upstairs, I don't have any of those cues to understand
So
what he's
you're
doing.
not gonna
So you would be
go to
more,
sleep.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I wouldn't be able to do it as easily.
Yeah, I see.
It's like when you were sitting here the other day and you fell asleep and your leg fell. You were just like you thought you were dying or
Dude,
something.
so 4th of July, right? So we were supposed to do a podcast. Greg forgot the laptop. Happens to everybody. So sorry that we weren't here on 4th of July. We were gonna do a 4th of July Day special podcast for the listeners. Bought us some hats that are off the camera right now. A flag, and obviously Steve, as everybody knows him. He's basically been with us since the beginning.
He's watching from above like all aliens.
But that day we were watching like one of the traditions that I picked up maybe within the last 2 years. I usually watch like Independence Day, and so we were watching it.
Oh, that was a tradition?
Yeah, like
Oh.
that's just something I watched because, growing up in a Hispanic household on Telemundo 52, the only thing that you had were knockoff movies. They were
Yeah, the
like in
movies with
Spanish.
different
Yeah, they were in
subtitles.
Spanish, and every year 4th of July, it was Independence Day, and
That's
so I kind of it kind of grew on me this time, particularly now that everybody's been talking about UFOs a little bit more. So I thought it was like good for the occasion. Anyway, I've seen the movie countless times, hundreds of times probably, and I fell asleep during like one of the most boring parts, and
There are no
my-
boring parts.
my foot fell off the chair where I was sleeping, and I thought I was falling, so I just woke up and freaked me out. So yeah, that was that, man.
That's funny that you're talking about that being a tradition. That I don't think I have any traditions right now, really. Like we had one growing up where it was New Year's Eve. Before we either went out to play with our friends until midnight or went somewhere else or whatever we were doing, we would always go to El Torito. Every New Year's Eve we would go. Like even when we were starting to get older
Mm-hmm.
and we weren't gonna hang out with our parents, we still were like, "Hey, El Torito, let's go." And then one year, my mom was just like, "We're gonna go do something else." We never did it again. It was so interesting.
How old were you when you were going to El Torito?
I couldn't even remember the first time we went, and then we stopped. I was probably like 16 or 17.
Okay, so for like a while.
Yeah, probably at least 10 years.
Yeah, I think traditions are good, man,
Yeah.
because they offer a little bit of structure and then something to look forward to, like
And a memory.
especially in a memory, like especially if you have your kid. It's something that he's gonna remember doing. It's like exactly what you just mentioned about El Torito,
Mhm.
and it kind of bugs you right now that you're like, oh man, like we don't go to El Torito anymore. If you're able to do something like that for your son when he's your age, that's something he's gonna appreciate.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna. I mean, I think we're a culture of tradition. everybody has traditions. 4th of July is a tradition. It's also a holiday, but it's the
Yeah, it's
tradition is like grill barbecue. Have some barbecue, have some beers, be with family, take the day off.
it's those things that you remember that don't necessarily like have a specific meaning. Like you could go to El Torito and you all be mad and you still would remember, hey, we go every year kind of thing. So it's like little things that no one else does that you do.
Yeah.
So like growing up, this is not a tradition, but it's something that my dad would do, and we actually just started talking about it again. He would do this thing when we go to sleep. If we weren't quick enough and he came in the room, he'd do this thing called Krabby Appleton. He'd hate this thing, dude.
Krabby
He would act
Appleton.
like a crab like this, and he would pinch you. So like you would have to be in bed, or he'd pinch you till you got in bed. And he was like, "Nah, I barely even pinch." I hated that thing so bad. It would pinch so hard, so hard. Oh, I hated that. But like you think back on it, and it's like it's
It's
funny,
funny.
and yeah, it's
Yeah,
stupid and kind of annoying that like things in the time suck, but then when you remember them later, it's funny.
well, I think that's part of the nature of being human. Is like, what are like a lot of successful people that we look up to? What do they say? Like, I had a shitty life, but it brought me to where I am today, and they appreciate it that much more because it took so much work to get there
Yeah.
that only they could do. We're trying
Hmm.
to build our own path there, right?
Yeah.
But like everything, like these off days that we're having, these off weeks where we seem like that nothing can get done. One day you just laugh at it. You're like, dude, remember those days when you just did nothing but jerk off? Just shit like that. You
Yeah.
just jerked off all day. Like you didn't do nothing. You didn't accomplish anything. Yeah, I feel like people, uh, like once they get to where they want, they're happy. All the crap that they went through, it was worth it.
Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry. Whew. That Pepsi.
Dude, it's those 4th of July burgers we were having.
Mm.
Honestly, I probably had 8 hamburgers that weekend.
I know you guys had more food than I did.
It was not good.
I was just eating chips
I think
and brownies.
I think that's why I got a little under the weather. I was telling you like earlier this week, starting like Monday, I woke up and I was like, oh man, just sucky. It just felt sucky. Like nose congested, sneezing all day, boogers just flying out. In fact, I think I should just go to the doctor and get it over with.
Get what
Usually,
over with?
like if it's an infection, just go
Uh,
get some antibiotics or whatnot. Um, yeah, because I'm just it doesn't help the situation that this whole week has been a little shitty in the first place, and then being sick on top of it, kind of
yeah.
sucks even more.
I was just thinking about that. I haven't been sick in a while. Neither has my son, and that's not good. The storm's coming.
Oh yeah, because you guys you should, it's because he goes to school
Yeah.
right now,
Mm-hmm.
so he's getting like germs all over him, like other kids, and like oh man, that's crazy.
Yep. Maybe some no vaxxers over there. Probably not. You're not allowed to go to school anymore without vaccines, right?
I think they're
Like they
I
made that a
thought they
requirement.
were mandatory to go to school. Lately, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it was appealed. Like, there's people that don't believe in it, so they have the freedom not to do it.
I I thought that was acceptable, but you had to homeschool. Like there was no rule that you had to be vaccinated, but you can't send your kid to school.
I can take a look
That's
if you want to clear that up.
that's what I thought
I
that I heard.
don't remember. I mean, there's been a big controversy on that, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like I don't know. It seems like a lot of kids are getting. They say what you get autism from vaccines, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the kids don't have autism, they're going to get all these other diseases.
Okay,
So would it
so
be better to have autism?
well,
I don't know
we
enough
that's
about it.
just
It's
a
kind of a ridiculous statement,
that's a
but
conspiracy theory, right? Because we don't really know if they do cause
yeah.
autism or not. Like, people don't seem to know where
Yeah, it's the
autism comes
highest.
from.
It's the highest percentage of this and that people go off of. So they just don't realize.
Yeah,
Like, as
I
with
mean,
my ex, almost everything that was like medically, like they're like, oh, this could be a side effect, or this can happen. It was always going to be the side effect. So if the side effect would have been better than the situation that she was already in, she would do it. But if the side effect was worse than the situation she was already in, then she would just wanted to do it.
yeah,
Because
because it doesn't make
she was
sense.
always going to the negative rather than getting the positive out it. So it was always weighing out the negative compared to what you're at, than weighing out what could happen. So
Yeah,
it's like
side
you
effects
get
are
used to like certain things, but
side
I
eff-
mean some things you can't turn around on.
yeah, side effects are no joke. So it says that no U.S. federal vaccination laws exist, but all 50 states have laws requiring children attending public schools to be vaccinated against diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis. I don't know what that is. Generally, in DTaP vaccine, polio, measles, rubella, and varicella, the chickenpox. So to go to school, you must be vaccinated, but no U.S. federal law
Yeah.
exists.
So they don't say that you have to vaccinate your kid, but you can't send them to a school.
A
You
public
have to
school,
do it yourself.
a public school, yeah. There's public schools.
Oh yeah, because they
So
have no control over private schools.
private school,
But
and you know
private
what?
schools can say what they want, so they probably do the same thing most likely.
Well,
Actually, well,
maybe not.
maybe not
Because if you
because they
got the
want money.
money, yeah, they're gonna pay. You're gonna be like, you're not gonna vaccinate. Okay, okay, but you know, Timmy over here, he's not gonna get to hang out with the group of other kids.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna raise an asshole. You're gonna be angry at the world, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, I mean,
It's actually interesting about is you're just talking about how Timmy wouldn't be able to hang out with the rest of the kids. And that's one of the things that that I worried about with Oliver because like he doesn't like talking to new people, and I don't like talking to new people. So like going into school, I would have just stood there until the class started and let him walk in. Like I wouldn't talk to anyone or like any of that. But he was playing with the kids one day, and then I started messing like the monsters so they would know who I am. And now like it almost seems like he's a popular kid. And I'm like, yeah, because like everyone like always like yells like, oh, there's Oliver, and like, oh, let's go run around kind of thing. So it's really cool.
yeah, that's really awesome. I mean, how were you when you were a kid?
Uh, it was weird because in early on, you don't care. Like if someone makes fun of you, you go tattletale, and then you continue doing what you were doing, and you're done. You don't think about it anymore necessarily. And then in like first through fifth grade, my mom was a substitute teacher at the school, so she knew all the teachers and she knew all the kids. So all the kids knew who I was because they all knew who she was, and all the kids liked her for some reason, and I couldn't stand her. And so like everyone knew who I was, but that didn't make me like a popular kid. It just made it so that I would talk to more people. Um, but then after fifth grade, I talked to like three people and then stayed to myself. In high school, and just I walked around in circles by myself until I started playing handball for 2
You
years.
What do you mean you walked in
Dude.
circles?
At break, I would walk around the school,
Uh-huh.
just keep walking until the next class started. Because I didn't want to just sit down and be like awkward looking at people, so I just walked in a circle until class started.
Yeah.
So I could look at people, but then I would walk and have to look at someone else, so it wasn't weird.
Did you feel an angst?
No, I just don't. I don't understand.
But did you feel like an angst that you're like, oh, like all these people, like I don't know, like one thing I heard the other day is like that smarter people are more weary,
I think
and they know they're like, okay, these people are dimwits. Like I don't even want to talk to these people. Was it
I
something
don't
like
necessarily
that?
think it's smarter. I think it's that people see certain issues and don't want to deal with those issues. Or like some people who just don't care about anything,
Yeah.
like they don't care about the consequence that can happen. They just do whatever the hell they want whenever they want.
Yeah.
So like I think I more or less can see circumstances for what can happen, and I stay away.
Oh, okay.
It's
Because
like that's why I don't like bars, because I can see the consequence of why this person is being stupid. And look, they're about to start a fight. Like, what do I need to be around this for?
I see. Okay. I mean that I would consider that being smarter in a sense.
Like, if someone came up to me to try to fight me, I would more or less agree with what they're saying so that they can laugh at me and get it out of the way, and they would leave. Rather than, no, that's not me. I'm not this or that. I'm not short. I'm not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like all that's gonna do is make them want to fight me,
See.
and it just doesn't make sense. Like what? I knock them out, and then they're cool with me. No, they're gonna want to try to knock me out again. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess I was the same way growing up in a sense. I've been what would you call that? Like what would you call that? Like
I don't know.
a judge of character? No, like what would you call that?
That's
A
what
good
some
judge
people
of
said, that I
character
had like better judge of character on
on
people.
people? But
But
more about like more like situational awareness,
maybe
right?
judge of outcome.
Judge of outcome. Like
Like,
you can see you can see where the like where the ball's rolling.
yeah.
Yeah, you're seeing like what could happen. You're like
Yeah,
90% I'm gonna get hit.
like when
10%
you
I'm
had bought your car a long time ago,
which
and
one?
you just like showed up, the TC.
Yeah,
You showed up and you told us how much it was a month, and I already knew how much money you made and how much you were spending.
yeah.
You were paying all this rent, and this was almost like it was close to almost half the amount of money you were making in a month.
Oh,
So
definitely.
so you're
Back
paying,
then, back then.
and that was my point. I was like, this is a disaster.
Yeah,
Like, we went to the pool that night, and like I was fearful for you. Like, I felt like I did something wrong.
I see.
Like, I almost kind of feel those things for a lot of people. Like, when I see one of my friends who just like spends money,
Yeah,
it's just like, what are you doing? Like, sure, you're making money, you get paid on Friday, but like, did you really need to buy like 20 sodas?
yeah.
Like, things like that, they bother me. Like, sure, I still make those same decisions sometimes, but like,
But you're more aware of them.
I think so, yeah.
So that's funny that you mentioned that because the way I was raised, I was raised in look, man, most of the lower class in America, they're called the consumers. That's what we are. Like that's our lifestyle. We consume things. We buy the cars. We rent the house. We buy a house. Um we have credit cards. We go buy things in the clothes of in stores for clothes, things that we don't need. Like you're already clothed. You don't need any more clothes for what? You're gonna wear Gucci on your pants? Like your shoes? Like what are you doing, right? We're we've been it's just a lack of education, man. Like consumers have a choice whether to buy something or not. Like that's economics in a nutshell. Economics comes down to a choice, right? You either buy it or you don't. No one's telling you to buy it. It's
Yeah.
your own want. It's your own material wants. You know the thing. Sometimes people develop addictions to it because it hits the right endorphins in your brain.
Yeah, it's like one of the things that I started realizing that I was buying that didn't make much sense are these watches.
Okay, I
Like, they're
told you that
expensive,
when you went
and
to
I'm
go buy
fine.
that watch.
And I use
Remember
it,
that?
but like I think about it, and it's just like
It's just a watch.
it's not as useful as I thought, and like it's cool, and I mainly almost put it on now for the hope of a wow factor almost, and like,
It's like your Hail Mary.
yeah,
Remember, Greg, when I was like, Greg, like just get a watch. Like, I'm a watch guy too, but I only have two. And this is my daily one, and then my nice one is it's a Nixon.
yeah,
But do I want more? Yes, I want more watches. I want more shoes. My shoes, the ones I have right now, usually my shoes will last me for the past. I would say for the good past 8 years. My shoes on average last me more than 3 years. I have shoes that I've had for 5 or 6 years now.
yeah,
I still use them. I kind of feel shitty when I go out with friends and like I'm like, fuck, I'm wearing the same shit. But right now, I'm at a point where I don't care what people say. I don't care what people think. I want to just save the money and then continue saving money until we're out of um the space where we're at right now. Maybe in a year or two, I'll be in a much better place where the money that I'm earning from building a company can go into more investments, and then like my mind has changed from being a consumer, and I'm in the. I wouldn't say it's completely changed, but it's because when you're talking about 30 years of habit
Uh-huh.
of buying things of you know dude, like in Mexico when we were still there, when I was still there, the Coca-Cola company would send a truck every week to restock the one store that we had in our little um gosh, I don't even know what like little town. Once a week it would come. The guy would stop at our house because our house was like the biggest lot there back then, or at least it was like there was nothing that would be in the way of it churning and stuff like that. So we'd stop at our house, and they would ask us to watch it. And my brothers, every time and the guy, the driver, would tell us, "Hey, you watch the sodas. I'll give you a couple of gallons. I'll give you a couple. What are they? Liters or gallons? Gallons, no? Like 1 gallon.
No, they're liters.
So I'll give you like
2 liter.
a 2 liter bottle, two 2 liter bottles, if you guys watch them, dude. But that we were still taking three from the bag for like 2 weeks. But even when we didn't have the money, we were doing this, and it was like, I think that's how we got hooked to buying things like Christmas. Christmas was too like we've been conditioned that every Christmas we go out and buy presents for people.
Yeah.
That it's a thing. It became a story. Santa Claus is a big thing for kids. When you're from 0 to 12, you believe in Santa. 12 years of thinking that on this day you're gonna get something for nothing, for free, only if you're good.
I mean, they do tell you have to be good. There's the
Well,
naughty and nice list.
but free.
Yeah.
All you have to do is be good, and it's free. Most of the time, even when you're not good, you still get something. You know that,
Yeah.
right? So we've been conditioned to be consumers all our life. But when you're 30 and you never break the cycle, your family has this cycle, like they will be renting forever. They'll never invest in a good property that's going to be a good property that's going to raise value, or its value is going to raise in the years. They want to go into the best thing. They can't afford it. Too much debt. Clothes. The best phone. Like my phone, I've had for 2 years. I usually like it's when it's not working, when it's like lagging because the software cannot catch up, because obviously that's how they design them.
Yeah.
When that happens, I have to get a new phone. But I spent $150. That's it. I don't have the latest iPhone. I don't need the best.
I ask you, why did you choose that phone?
Why did I choose this phone?
That phone and the plan.
Why did I choose it?
Mm-hmm.
One, I don't think that I could. I don't know why I would need an $800, $1,000 phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. The plan, because it's just unlimited. Not have to worry about minutes. But I pay $80 a month. It's not bad compared to other people's plans.
See, like I always outweigh certain things. So like, there are certain items that kind of need to have nowadays. Like you need a phone, you need to be able to communicate. And then depending on what you do, like if all you do is make calls all day and you don't have to like send emails or like constantly check, sure, you might not need a smartphone. But out there's no real option outside of a smartphone now. So if you don't get something that's newer, then you're gonna be struggling using it, and it's gonna be consistently wasting your time, and you're gonna get frustration and stuff like that. Like I chose this phone because one, there was a sale on it, and then there's another way to get a discount on it. So it was signing up for like it's a personal loan in a sense. Sign up for the personal loan. I had the money to pay it off. So if you would get the discount, you sign up for a personal loan. They give you that money. You buy the phone. You get an extra 15% off. So I did that. Then I just paid off the loan instantly. So I got a discount for nothing. Increased my credit too, and then I got a phone that was waterproof, resistant, and should last at least 2 years. So I planned on 2 years worth of life, plus the whatever the plans are, because you can get the truly unlimited, which you pay like $30 more than
Mhm.
what they call unlimited, where you get those extra minutes, or you go up to a certain amount and then it slows down. So I did the research to see how much you would normally use, and I would normally on a consistent basis use less than that. So I could save $30 right there, save all this percentage on the phone, and I made sure a time window, and then price it all out that way.
Okay,
And I do things like that based off of small
but
things. So
you're
like,
a logical person. Imagine the college student who's just getting by. Like when I was 18 and bought that TC that I shouldn't have bought,
mm-hmm.
which right now, shout out to Robert, he got rid of it.
Oh, he sold it.
Yeah, he sold it.
Did he make more money?
Obviously, yeah, he invested time. He invested time. He cleaned it up. He fixed a few little things. He put in a little bit of money into the car.
But he made more money.
Yeah, but that's business, man. Like you live and you learn. You know.
I was just curious because it's interesting.
Yeah. No, and then he's really into cars, so like, and it's something that he enjoys. Like for me, it started becoming eyesore. Like the price that I sold it was just like get it out of my life because I've had it for such a long time. It's sad memories that nobody wants to remember and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like an eyesore for me. Like I didn't want to see it anymore. Took it, he used it for what he needed it for, and then right now I think he's gonna have his own office. So he used it for a good reason. You know, he sold it off, but it's out of our life. No more TC. But yeah, I mean that's the whole story.
Yeah, that's exactly what like thrift stores are all about. People getting rid of stuff that's just been sitting around, and then you walk up and you find something. Like I almost bought you something today because you were gonna put a bar in here.
Yeah.
It's one of those. I don't know what it is. I think they're like the inside is plastic. It's an ice container, but the outside is like squishy, almost kind of plastically leather. I don't know if you've ever seen one
I
before.
don't think I've ever seen that.
And there's just like the outside is soft, and you just pop it open, and you keep ice in it.
Oh, I've never heard of that
It
before.
was so sick, and I looked at it. I was like, all right, this can be a couple bucks at the thrift store. It was like $15,
Damn.
and I was like, what the hell?
Probably
Like,
an old
no,
good brand.
thrift stores up their prices because of the reselling business now.
Oh,
So
okay.
they know like all this stuff people are gonna try to
They
buy
have to
and
be
resell it.
competitive with the
Yeah.
online market.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but still at the same time, you still want to go to those places and buy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this what I did with the couches. You know, the couches that we have here. Um, they look pretty expensive, and I got them for cheaper.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just been doing that more, trying to save a penny anywhere I can.
Yeah.
You know.
And see the stuff like that too, because it gives you accomplishment. Like if you get something that's a little worn and you're like, oh, I'll paint this a little bit, and then you paint it and then you have it on the wall and you're like, oh yeah, I got that at the store. I painted it, and now you've peacocking.
Yeah,
Like,
you get like sense of achievement, right?
Yeah.
That you did something with it. You put
Mhm.
your work into it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, that's always really good. I think there's no better way to get that than from your work. Like the work that you put into things. It just goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like you're gonna look back and see all this stuff that you did, and then like when you're done and you're lying on a deathbed and you're like, oh, like cool, like I don't have any regrets. Like I worked my ass off. I had a good life. It was hard, painful. I doubted myself a lot, but at the end, it was all worth it.
Yeah.
Like that's where I want to be. You know, like
That's one of the things that stops us from doing work like that, or someone else telling you how to do it and when to do it. Like I'm helping my parents clean out their backyard is just full of like stuff that we stored over time. And I told my mom, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go out there, and there's going to be 5 piles. I'm going to throw away what is obviously trash. and then I will put stuff that we're gonna sell, stuff that I would consider as trash, and then me and my brothers have some stuff back there. Majority of my brother's stuff is trash. It's been there for many years. So I told her I'll put theirs to the side. My stuff is still good. I just need to move it over. It's not that much. And I was gonna say I'm gonna call them or send a message that you have a week or they're gonna throw the stuff out. It's gonna be all put there ready for them to go. And then I was just like, just let me do that. Something will get started because you guys aren't doing anything with it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be a step ahead. And then she turns around and goes, no, I want to be out there so that I can make sure that these are, and I'm just like, okay, it's not going to work then. Like, if you're not going to let me go out there and put work in to get it done, then I don't want to stand there and waste my time having to hear, like, oh, I'm going to look at this really quick. Just give me a second before you move that. And then stand there for 10 minutes not doing anything. Like,
and then maybe
those things slow you down from wanting to do anything.
And then because they sometimes have like sentimental value, you don't want to get rid of them.
Oh no, but that's not the point. The point is that you can still have your time to do that. Just let me get the initial work done the way I want to get it done, and then we'll go from there. It'll save me time. It'll save you time.
That's true.
It won't annoy me.
Yeah, be more effective. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, man. Going back to the whole, the gist of things. We've been living this life of consumer, and we need to be more of a producer. Which brings me to my other point: is that from a previous podcast, and we've just mentioned it a lot. This is why I want to be doing this. Because if we're gonna sit down and have a conversation like we always do, all the time, all our friends do, we always have these conversations, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's put it out there so people can learn something, or if not, just take something that may help them with their life. Because this is stuff that we're going through at the moment, that maybe our mistakes can help somebody not make them,
Yeah.
That's kind of like how I'm looking at this whole thing. And it's not a waste of time that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like
that's what I did one of those things about, like, how you were just saying about creating things. And I do this all the time. I always go to like stores. Like, I went to the dollar store today. And I walked through the whole place just looking at things, like wanting to take an idea or taking something that I can add to, like we were talking about like a background we can do when we do the office.
Mhm.
And I was looking at all these frames, and I was like, all I would have to do is get a bunch of these dollar frames. You can get 50 of them, $50. It'd be the same price as getting one giant poster,
Right.
like one good quality, huge poster thing. And then all I got to do is go out and print whatever images I want. Like, I go out, print out a bunch of like front page comics of specific comic books we want, put it in there, and it's framed and it look really good. Just put it up on the wall, and then I can post that somewhere saying that I can make these.
Yeah.
And just put it for a certain price. And until someone buys one, I don't gotta make it. And I can just go out and make it whenever I want.
Yeah,
like,
you can.
It's the little things like that like I always think of. I'm like, oh yeah, I can do this. Like I said, I went to Goodwill to buy shoes to sell them, and you just don't do it because you don't see the big profit. It's like, I would have made $5 off of those shoes if I had bought them. I didn't buy them. Now I didn't make $5.
Yeah.
So should I have just bought them and made the $5, or be like, oh, I would have only made $5?
Well, that's up to you, but I think, that's up to you. But you have to start somewhere.
You got to do something, and I feel like I don't do enough somethings.
Well, maybe you just gotta stick with it. You remember how we were talking about, like, before off the air, off the podcast, we were talking about you doing your coding.
Yeah.
And you're like in the later steps. I think it's best if you just go through with it. So then you don't know if at the last step something's gonna click in your mind and be like, oh, this whole time I was thinking about it this way, but now I get it. Boom. Website. Boom. Thought process website, because we need one. Boom, like property management, like, and all that stuff for me. Like, I would need something like that.
Yeah, but see, some things though, you have to understand that it's not working at that time.
Sure.
Like I'm at a point where sure I'm close to the end of the course, but the amount of time I'm putting into it and the amount of money I'm putting into it and where I'm at with not having enough money for this and that it is something that you would have to put on hold.
Sure, sure.
It doesn't mean that you're gonna stop doing it.
Yeah.
It just means you have to stop doing it right now.
Yeah. Well, look, it's a problem, right? You have a problem that you can't figure out, but there's a solution to it.
Yeah, but maybe the solution's not now. Maybe it's in a month.
But maybe it is now. Maybe you just haven't looked at it a different way.
Maybe.
I'm gonna challenge you on that. And say that. Like what Gilbert, who was on one of our podcasts earlier, he's living a life of he stopped being a consumer. He just paid off his credit cards. No more credit card debt, which is awesome. He's living this life now that's about making money, not spending it, and making money, saving and investing it.
Mm-hmm.
He's now an actual business owner, not a mom and pop shop anymore. So that seeing that transition of how he was able to do that, and then I was talking to him earlier. He was telling me how he should have done this a year ago, just didn't do it. However, he's doing it now, so that doesn't really matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if you would have done it a year ago. You would have had a year. This whole year for him would have been different. But that's not why we're here. Like
He wasn't ready for it. Is the point? Like, sure, he could have made himself ready for it, but it's just like how we were just talking about how like someone's successful.
Yeah.
They had to go through all this crap to get there. Maybe that year of time that you were talking about was the crap needed to get him to the step where he would actually stay in this kind of a position.
Yeah, I mean,
so like those are the things that I'm looking at. Like I feel like there's a step that's holding me down. Like we were talking about earlier about how like someone else making you do something that you don't want to do at that time. Like maybe I've actually talked about this about how I'm not making money right now, so it makes me feel almost useless because all I'm doing essentially is losing money. You need money to survive. Like it's just kind of something you have to have. Sure, you don't have to have buku amount of money, but like I'm not making money to survive. I have enough money to survive. So like in the back of my head every day it's like, oh, I'm not making money, don't spend money.
Right.
So like maybe that's something there is holding me back from being able to learn. It's almost like a depression that isn't in front of you at the time.
I see.
Something that maybe is like making you unhappy.
Obstacle.
Something that's making you unhappy that you're not seeing.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, I can't really give you advice, like, or you shouldn't even take my advice because I'm still trying to practice this whole thing. But it would be using that as fuel to be like, you know what? I'm tired of being broke. Let me just go through this course and crash through it. I'm tired of being broke. Like, you have to motivate yourself to that point to say, I'm tired of being broke, not having any money. Time for action. Now, again, I've had a shitty past week. Like, I can't give you that advice, but I can tell you that. Like, if me looking from an outside perspective to what your situation is, you're at the finish line. You have a biggest problem, probably like your final exam. And if you don't go through it, maybe a year from now you'll regret it. I'm not saying you have to do this, because obviously you have to have money, right?
Yeah.
But have you put it into paper and be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Like, this is my game plan. And I'm only telling you this because in the mastermind with Robert and Gilbert, this is the kind of stuff I learned from them that they're doing because they're a little bit more advanced. They've been doing it longer than I have. So they like the problems that I'm going through right now, they've gone through this stuff already countless times. Now they're at the point where it's working now. Like the way they're doing the business, the everything, the way they're living their life. It's working. I'm not gonna say that they're, you know, millionaires, but they're headed in that direction. We're all broke right now, but now we have a trajectory. Like we know where we're going now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so this I'm learning from them. So it would be from like I'm passing you the advice, or I'm passing the advice over to you and tell you, what if you just use this as fuel and be like, you know what? I'm tired of it. I need to figure it out today. And if I can't figure it out today, somebody has to know the answer. Somebody in that forum that helps the teacher, somebody has to know the answer. Maybe you just need to ask the question better.
I know. That's one thing I've tried and I've tried, and it's like, it's so difficult sometimes. It's like you read something, you're like, okay, this doesn't make sense. You ask a question, and they're like, okay, read this. So, like, it's almost as if I'm trying to learn from the wrong person, maybe. And that's one of the reasons why I'm like, I feel like either I need to put it on pause because there's something else going on I'm not understanding, or either I need to start learning some other way. Because like how I said, I was gonna put a pause on the course. I was going to get a job, start working, making money, and then I'm still going to be learning, just not through them. I'd be doing it through free services, and I have some paid services already that I can use, so I would still be doing some kind of learning, still be building on top of what I have learned, but I just didn't finish that course yet. And when I have the money again, then I can start that course again, which then I would finish and have something that I can say, look, I finished this whole course. I know how to do all this
I
stuff.
mean,
That
yeah,
that's what my main plan is.
if that is your goal, your game plan, then I mean, who am I to say anything? Like that's your game plan.
It's like
That's the way you figured it out. Maybe that is the answer for you.
it's like some
That's
people
perfectly
who
fine.
take a semester off and then come back because they need to do something or they need a job.
That's a
There's plenty of people who do it. Sure,
slippery
there's plenty of
slide.
people who don't
That's a
do
slippery
it because
slide, though.
majority of the time when
A
they take
slippery
a
slide.
semester off, it's because they want to go do something fun.
Yeah,
But where I'm at right now is I'm not doing it to go have fun. I'm doing it because I gotta make money now.
yeah. But I mean, I'm not saying that this applies to you, but we know, both you and I know that that's a slippery slope.
Sure.
Like I said it myself. I'm gonna take a break. I'm not gonna go to college. Well, I went to college. I didn't, I had to get to work, and then I was like, I'll go to school later. I'll go back to school later, like 2 3 years. Been 8 years. I didn't go back to school. Now I have to go through the trenches and figure everything out
Oh, see,
as I do it.
see, I'm not. See, that's the one thing that I feel like people, like I keep talking to different people about this, is what I'm doing online. It's not school. It's not like when I complete this, I get a job out of it. I'd have to build a portfolio. I'd have to use what I learned to do it. So if I'm still learning, I'm learning off of free courses, which give you just as much information. I'm still learning. I just didn't finish this specific course. And so me sitting there stuck on this course, on this one specific thing, not learning it and wasting all this time and money, am I really learning and doing anything better? Or doing like 10 different courses, building more for my resume, actually learning consistently, plus having a job making money, would that not make more sense?
I mean, that makes perfect sense. But again, now after you finish this course, is it going to give you any sort of certification?
They give you like a certification. Doesn't necessarily mean anything, but a lot of people in the tech field know about these certificates and
Now,
understand that the course is
would
hard
it help you to
and you got to
get
put
you
time
more
and
work?
money. It will, and at the end of it, there's a whole. They have some affiliates with them who will hire people who go through the courses, but they don't guarantee that. So it's
So,
like one of those things where it's like it's not necessarily me completing that course is going to do anything special. It's everything I learned. So
but
if I'm
it's
not learning
right.
right now, I'm spending money just to be there,
Yeah.
and that's
Now, why would you think you're not learning? Like, why?
because I'm not
You're not
when
like,
I'm reading things,
yeah.
I'm not picking it up until I ask all these questions and finally someone decides, okay, he's been asking for 2 3 weeks now. He's not getting it. And now I'm going to tell you. So once I get the answer and I can apply it to this thing and start seeing how it's working, then I understand it. And then I can
Yeah.
snowball the rest of the project.
Do you?
And then I can read it and understand what's happening. But until then, like it's reading a book, trying to understand a concept for one specific thing, but not being able to apply it to a bigger picture of something you want to create yourself.
Okay.
So I'm only seeing how they want to do it for one specific thing and not being able to apply that to others. And that's where I'm having the issue. And that's why I keep telling them, like, I need to be able to apply that same thing to everything, but I'm not getting enough information in the book to do that. Or there may be enough information there, but since I don't know what the information means, I can't connect the pieces. It's like a puzzle I can't connect.
Do you have other means of checking? Like maybe.
Sure, I go online and check, but like, since I don't know all terminologies and things like that, like I don't know how to put the question into like a search. Like I don't know exactly what I'm searching. I know one part, but I don't know the second part, so I don't know how to. Get both parts.
You're like deciphering hieroglyphs, right?
Kind of is what it seems
you're like, okay, this is an eagle. Clearly, it's an eagle because I know what an eagle is. Everybody knows what an eagle is. Yeah. But what did it mean to them at their time when they were alive?
Yeah, it's like understanding the alphabet. Obviously, the alphabet's the same in English and Spanish. A, B, C, D. You may say it differently.
No,
but the letters look the same, right?
We have accents, which change letters. Like for instance, N. If you put an accent, it's not an N. It's like more of an. It's called ñ. So it's got like an accent.
Okay. So it's like
let's go
in English. They gave you the alphabet, and you understand A, B, C, D, but then you need to learn how to, like, they give you a sentence, you get A, B, C, and you can piece it together, but like you don't know what it means at the end of it. It's like you can pronounce the word can, but you don't know what a can is.
Or you don't. Yeah, you don't know.
It's kind of what I'm at. Like I have the alphabet, I can say the word can, but I don't know what can means.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like deciphering hieroglyphs.
So it's like that's what I want. I want to get more information quicker, being taught than trying to solve and create something that I don't have a full grasp on.
Do you follow like coders on your social media?
I do, but it's not social media for those kind of things aren't the same because it's not like they can't show you like
concepts.
Yeah, they can show you the artistic side, like they can show you like a website or something about how they made the design. They can show you how all that, but they can't really sit there and just be like, this is what I did. They would more or less give you like the documentation for what they use so you can go read it and do it yourself. Like outside of that, it's more or less like people saying, oh, I learned this algorithm, or I learned how to use this kind of function, or like, and that's just not useful. It's just people spewing out words to you that don't mean anything. Like if an artist was explaining this painting, how they did the mushrooms in the scientific word of art, like they did this and then they shade this and they use the hyperbole of the like, what the heck does hyperbole mean?
You mean hyperbole?
No, I was making a word up.
Oh.
And that's my point. Like you don't understand. Like you understand it's a mushroom and you could do like a side, but you wouldn't be able to imitate that without finally learning what those things are.
No, so I get what you mean. I get what you mean. But I mean, there's means like podcasts. I'm sure there's coding podcasts that maybe talking about the kind of things that you are going.
Well, that's my point. Is I think I need more resources. I think I'm stuck on one resource. So it's like if you went to one tutorial and they were teaching you how to draw this mushroom, and there was just a part where it would like their hand went over it for a second and you couldn't see what they did.
Right.
And you just kept trying to watch the same thing, but you don't have the complete information.
Yeah.
But then you go to another 10 tutorials that do the same thing, and then someone just says some way that makes it easier for you to do it, then you pick on.
I've had those instances,
and I think that's what I need. I think I need other resources. I need a fresh start, and then go back and just crush it and have the information.
Sounds like you figured it out. That sounds like a good plan, man.
But at the same time, like my head, I'm like, if I go on to new things, maybe I'm gonna quit and not go back and finish. So it's like one of those.
That's just self-discipline.
What is that? Catch-22?
I don't know what that term is. I'm Mexican, dude. Call it chingadera.
So what do you have? What do you have? You have a goal for this coming week?
For
Do you
this
have a
coming week,
plan for this coming week
I
to
mean,
do
I
something
still
new or do some
do
improve something
something,
that you're
improve
doing?
something, always. Now the problem is that it doesn't always work out like that. Like every Sunday, I sit down and plan out my week.
Uh huh.
Every Sunday, I put my workouts. I put um my driving time, the time I'm gonna wake up, everything almost to the hour. If things change sometimes during the hour, during the day, some stuff happens. I may have to switch something for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But this week, when I got sick on Monday, because I was sick over the weekend, and I think it was just from eating hamburgers, like shitty food all weekend. You know, I wasn't having the nutrition I usually have, and I've always noticed that when I change my nutrition this way, I always end up getting sick. Always, like I throw off, like my gut biome is not good or something. You know, it's filled with bad bacteria or something. Um, and I get sick. But when I'm on point and I have my meals planned out and everything like that, I go months without getting sick. But anyway, that's just what happened this weekend. So Monday I woke up shitty, not on time. I felt like I didn't rest, so I slept in a little longer. Then I decided I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna work from home. That didn't work because now I'm not like in my usual setting. Like I was in here because I still don't have my office, the studio set up because the stuff has not been going through as I had planned. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's been setbacks, so that just threw me off. And then came Tuesday, and then I had things that I had to do from last week to do Monday. Now doing on Tuesday, but now things happen on Monday. Then now I have to do Tuesday. So Tuesday's work had to be pushed for today.
Yeah.
And then some of the stuff didn't get finished from Monday because just things keep piling up, and then sometimes vendors, just the nature of the work that I do, it's I have to deal with people a lot. So dealing with people is probably the hardest thing that I've ever had to deal with. Like from on every aspect of every job I've had, it came down to people. So this is just an off week for me. Like now I'm kind of backed up, and I have important things coming up. I got to take some pictures on Saturday for like the wedding and everything like that, and it's just a lot of planning. Then I have to go match a shirt now that personally I don't want to go buy a shirt, but now I have to. So and then I have to think about the shirt because I don't want it to be just for that occasion. I need to make sure it's gonna last me for a whole year. You know.
Yeah.
So all this stuff just builds up, and then if I don't keep on top of it, like I feel like it's just pulling me down, like being in mud water. Like it's very hard to keep stepping forward. You just get winded. So that's what's been going on this week. But that's why I'm telling you, like tomorrow, I may just say, "Fuck it, man. I'm just gonna go to the doctor, get the sinus stuff checked. If I have an infection, because I feel like I've had a headache, I feel like my freaking tonsils have been a little sore. I feel like I may get sick even worse. And if that happens, my whole weekend's off. Then my whole next week's gonna be off, and it's just a freaking terrible cycle to have. Um, but I mean, what am I gonna do? Like, you can't do anything. You just gotta accept it. I had a shitty week. Fuck it. Tomorrow, hopefully, it's not as shitty as it has been. And maybe this whole podcast, like maybe just I was able to give myself a little bit of inspiration and motivation to be like, okay, you know what? It's not bad. It could be worse.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, let's let's do a little bit better. So, I mean, that's kind of like stuff that I've been doing that I mentioned has been like planning my week ahead. Um, and then just go that way. So when you're going through your motions during the day, you have a routine. You don't have to think about it anymore. You just the phone alerts me and says, "Hey, time for this, emails, phone calls, vendors, whatever." lunch, try to get some reading in, and then, you know, organize back end office stuff like that. So it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of shit, man.
Yeah.
You know, and especially when you're running a company by yourself. And like I said, I didn't go to business school. I didn't go to any specialty or specialized school. Like I went to fire tech. I did all my fire tech classes for firefighting. And I'm actually really proud because I've never had those kind of grades in my life. You know, but it was a thing that like I was like, oh, I really like it, so I'm just gonna stick with it. I did all the reading, did all the projects. Had to get up and do public speaking in front of class, nervous, whatever. I did it all. I did all that stuff. Went on ride-alongs. I did all that stuff. I got great grades. But then it was like maybe it's not the lifestyle that I want. And so then it was like, okay, so no school. And then it was just working odd jobs. And I mean, we can get into those kind of jobs maybe on another podcast because um, I've had a lot of weird jobs.
Yeah.
Done a lot of weird stuff.
I've had 2 jobs. That's it. I think that might be one of the issues. But I think most of the issues is me not doing things the way I want to do it. So there's something that I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna do it tonight or tomorrow morning. That it's something that I've been wanting to do and get done because I feel like it's going to save me a lot of pointless thinking and a lot of it's not even like stress. It's just like it's like stupid little energy things that you don't have to worry about.
Energy.
Like just do it and get it done because you constantly think about it.
Like what?
Like
give me an
what
example. You don't have to tell me what the thing
let's
is.
see. I don't know. Like
like cleaning the floor.
If someone always did something like this, or they always went like this, and everyone always comments, you need to stop doing that. You need to stop doing that. But this makes you feel good.
Okay.
And so now you just stop doing it. But like every time you want to do it, you're just like, oh, I want to do it. And like you it doesn't hurt anyone. It doesn't do anything.
I can tell.
But like now it's causing you to have this pointless. I mean, it's still considered stress, but you need this little stupid pointless thing that you constantly have to think about. That's not a big deal. But you think about it regardless. Like you'll say something to me once and I'll think about it for that second and then that's it. Where now me having to stop doing this thing, I think about it constantly.
Okay, so give me an
like
example.
Sure, there are examples of things that you do want to stop, but I was just doing something like that. I'll talk about it next week. And it's gonna be very stupid and you're not gonna think that it's a big deal, but it's little things like that you consistently have on a daily basis that bother you. That maybe I've said to you, or your friends have said to you, and you constantly have to think about all these stupid little things.
Yeah.
And it's just everything builds up.
Oh, okay. So
all these small little stupid things that you constantly think of build up.
Another thing that I've been doing that's been helping me with this, that for me, what you're calling that is a backlog.
Okay.
Like,
I have heard of that before.
You know, for me, I heard this from I guess he's more of a friend and considered mentor. I work with him, you know, older gentleman who's been very successful kind of guy. I got it from him. Is that you create this backlog of things that you don't take care of. Maybe things happen, they accumulate. You know, it could be washing your car. It could be getting an oil change. It could be paying your rent, paying a utility bill, whatever the hell it is. You know, it could be anything. It's a little thing that you know that it's there, that you have to take care of, and it's in the back of your mind. You're not thinking about it all day, but it's still there. Like it'll come back later at night. Then you won't be able to sleep. Messes with your sleep cycle, whatever. So I learned that it's a backlog, and I tend to write it down, and then I keep it as a reminder during my week. So like one of the things that I do every day is like work on backlog. Like, what's the most important thing on there that I haven't done that I have to do? But sometimes it gets to the point where everything accumulates and you don't even want to look at that backlog because you already know it's crazy. Um, so I mean, I would suggest keep a backlog. I don't know if it'll work with you or for you in this scenario, but I recommend it to everybody. Just keep a log of things that you haven't done that you probably need to get done, and try to do them as quickly as possible, or they amount to crazy things where you can't even function anymore.
Yeah.
You know. Um. Yeah. I mean, sorry. You
The,
continue with your.
well, it's like this example of what I'm gonna do. I don't want to say it.
You don't have to say it.
I'll talk about it
In
next
fact,
week.
we can talk about
But
something
it's
else.
oh no. But it is something that even you've said to me, and you said, "Oh no, you shouldn't do that." And it's something that I'm just like,
I
why
mean,
not? It makes total sense in all aspects for me,
I
and
already
I
know
don't
what
do
that
it.
is.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't think you get.
I know what it is.
I don't think you do. It's just something so stupid, and you're gonna be like, "Really? You think that much about it?" But that's the point. There's so many little things that are little that don't matter,
I already
but
know
they
what it
all.
is.
You could probably think you do, but I guarantee you don't. You can tell me after the
I'll
podcast.
tell you after the podcast.
But it's so interesting. It's like today, like last night, I sat down and I was like, "What are things that I've made money off of before?" Because I'm trying to make money when I don't have my son, so I can be around when my son's there. And so I wrote down all the things I've done before that's made me money that I can control and do specifically when my son's not there. So I wrote them all down. I was like, okay, what are the two of the things that I can do tomorrow? So when I woke up, I looked at the thing and I did both of them. One of them didn't work for the specific way I went to go do it. So I could try another way and see if it works that way. And then the first one works, but it's like passively and it's not a big deal. So it's like I'm trying to whittle things down that I've done already, and then I'll add in things I haven't done to see if they work.
That's fucking great. And that's a good plan because you're starting somewhere. Like, imagine being the guy who sits at the couch, be like, man, I have to make money. Okay, maybe tomorrow. But see, like, you're already changing.
I'm doing that a lot though.
It's
What you
fine.
just said.
But everybody does that.
Yeah.
I did it on Monday. Like,
I'm trying to find a way
telling
out
you.
of that thought.
there's no way out of it. Like, that's our nature.
There is a way out of it. You just have to find the
It's
way out of
called
it that works
discipline.
for the way you
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah, it's just
Because
discipline.
it's not the same. Like if the thing you need to do in the morning that projects you through the day is eating a bowl of cereal, I can't tell you that eating a bowl of cereal is going to give you that same
Right.
projection as it would for me.
Right.
So it's like that's what I'm trying to figure out. That is like
Yeah, it's
what
just
I want to do.
discipline. Like, however you want to discipline yourself, that's different. That's
Yeah.
everybody's different, you know? It just comes down to discipline and then defeating your own mind. Like, your mind are okay. So, for one thing that I've noticed about, um, or at least in my experience when I did started training and doing like working out,
Yeah.
we are naturally lazy people. Like, people are just lazy. We're just we've become lazy. I'm not speaking for everybody because there's obviously outliers. There's athletes. There's a bunch. The list goes on.
Yeah.
But people are naturally lazy, and your body will want to stay comfortable in a comfortable state. If you're putting it through pain, your body doesn't want to be there. And one way, one way that your body does that is it feeds your mind these ideas like, hey, like, it's okay, just eat this donut, just one, it doesn't do anything to you, so sugary, like that crack cocaine. It's like, or it's having a beer, or you just start rationalizing these. Oh, you know what, I worked so hard this week, I'm gonna live for Friday. Like, oh, I can't wait for Friday, just get shit faced, blow out my money. Like, you're not thinking about things. You're not thinking rationally. You know, you're not thinking about, oh, on Saturday I'm just gonna do nothing with my week or my weekend, Saturday and Sunday, because I'm gonna be hungover from Friday. Like you're not thinking about that. You're just thinking about the thing that's gonna excite you. It's Friday. Let's get fucking lit. It's We did it. I did it. I'm guilty of it. It's just those things that I mean, I guess as you grow older, you start figuring this out. But I mean, people like from my experience, like the way I've seen the way I was working out, then I stopped, and then I got back in, and then now I've been really, really good about it. But then, and even again this week, like I rationalized not going to the gym because I was sick. I'm like, I'm gonna get worse. But then again, I don't want to be that asshole that if I'm the only one that's sick and go get everybody else sick, like, you know, hopefully people are listening to this part. And if you're sick, just stay home. Don't go to the gym. You know, we don't need your germs everywhere.
Yeah.
But aside from that, you know,
But like you said, it's a slippery slope.
it is. But I mean, that's one of the things you said. Like, what are you planning for next week to be better? Next week, I'm planning to go back to the gym and be 100% as I was for the past, I want to say, past 4.5 months. Because I was feeling good. Like, you know,
Yeah.
everything was just, I was feeling good. Like, I was back. And then that's one of the things, like when you're not working out, you just feel lazy, like you feel shitty,
Yeah.
you feel lethargic, like gosh, dude, I wasn't even walking anymore. Like I wasn't even taking walks. I was just sitting in an office. I was sitting in my car from here to work, being in an office for 8-12 hours, sitting down. Eventually I noticed that my ass started hurting. I was feeling more uncomfortable, so I got a standing desk, which I have not used in like a month. Like I've just been sitting down again. But it's these habits that we've had throughout our years. They're hard to break, man. But maybe like something that you can look forward to next month is breaking one habit at a time. And in fact, that's not advice for you. That's advice for me. Like maybe that's the way I have to do it next month.
Yeah.
Like you know what? I gotta sit down less and or time myself. Like, hey, 15-minute break. You have to stand up for 45 minutes, or walk around, or whatever. You know, or drink more water so I have an excuse to get up and walk. Things like that. So
Yeah.
that's something that I'm looking forward to.
All right. Well, send it
Well,
there then.
let's end it on a good note.
So next week I'll have something to share
Yeah.
about that little thing I'm gonna change just to see what I feel like after it. See if it like outweighed the other, like doing what the other people wanted to do for me rather than what I wanted to do. And
That's
it's even
awesome, man.
something so small, it's not a big deal, but I'm curious as if it what it's gonna do on the other side.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish you good luck with that. And next week, I believe if you're available, we're gonna have 2 podcasts.
Next week, yeah, it should work.
2 podcasts.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do as a
Maybe
treat.
maybe if we have the time, we can get everyone together before we go up camping.
Oh, so we can have like
Have all of them
a
in
friends cast.
it. Yeah. We'll see if
Ooh,
we can hook
friends
that one up
cast.
if we have time, because I don't know if I'll be able to. I may have to join you guys later, so that one might happen.
No, okay. So we actually have a guest next week. His name is Shabir. He's an old coworker of mine and yours.
Yeah.
If we've known him for a long time, we haven't seen him or spoken to him for a while. But he is one of the hardest working people I've known, even to this day. Like he's been retired when we met him, he was already retired.
He's funny.
He's still
and he's smart,
working.
and like he didn't
He's
care about anything.
right. He was having a good time, and
Talk
so
to everyone.
like I want to learn from that guy. I want to know what is it that makes him be like that.
Yeah, it's so interesting that we always feel like we have to learn from people who everyone knows. Like no one who watches this is gonna know who this guy is.
No.
But it doesn't mean that he doesn't have value
Oh,
for you,
dude.
which is something that I didn't really think about until right now. Like obviously we learn from each other. Maybe no one here is gonna learn from us, or maybe they do, but whatever. We are learning from someone else rather than this person on Instagram or this person
Yeah, I
who
want
you've seen on TV before, who you're learning from them, but you never even meet them to actually see if they follow through with any of this stuff.
exactly. Like you don't know if they're real or not.
Yeah, it's easy enough to sit
Yeah.
in front of the camera, record something, edit it, set it up, to be like, oh, you need to do this, and then they might do some of those things, but what they really do is over here.
Right. And so, this guy, he's actually, I don't know if he's practicing or he's not a touring stand-up comedian, but he does do
Oh
he
yeah,
does do
huh?
stand-up comedy. And so um for me, like having all these off days and stuff like this, and especially now that I have a longer commute to work, my favorite thing to do is listen to podcasts with comedy in it.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Like it just makes your commute that much better. Like this guy cuts you off, whatever. Like you're laughing at this guy. He's telling his life story, and it just changes your outlook. Like whatever, man. Like you're gonna get over it anyway. Like whatever. Like I'm just having a good time.
Yeah.
So comedy has helped me a lot in these times. So I don't know, man. Hopefully we can learn something from him, and yeah, I mean we'll take it from there.
Yeah, should be good. All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Thanks for joining. We'll see you next